pocket. It was the school holidays. Usually, the school holidays are lots of fun. But I wasn't having much fun this time round.
Stop scratching, Jason.
Because I was covered in chickenpox spots.
Just need my sticky stars.
I'm so fed up, Grandpa.
Poor Jason Wolfie. Not only has he got chickenpox, but he's missing out on a special trip to the lighthouse.
Yes, today I was missing out on a visit to Mr. Mentor's Marvelicious Inventing Club. Mr. Mentor, the inventor, lives in the lighthouse in Sunnysands. He is always coming up with really crazy inventions. Like this, the grassy bubble jumper. And this, the automatic aerostatic. Today, he'd invited some children to his inventing club so that they could come up with some inventions of their own. I'd even decided what things I was going to use for my invention.
Really? Such as?
Well, there's an old tricycle wheel at the lighthouse, and there's a curly-whirly coat hanger, and there's heaps of coloured flower pots. Oh, I could have made something brilliant out of all that.
Ready to invent something Marvelicious?
Yes, I've got a great idea.
That'll be Shanae's mum. I'll go and say hello. Come on, Jemima.
See you later. And no scratching.
I want to go to Mr. Mentor's Marvelicious Inventing Club too. I've got a feeling that Jemima is going to need some help.
Not the shrinking cap, Grandpa. You know what happens when Grandpa puts on his magic shrinking cap. He can climb up things, he can jump on things and off things. He can get into my toy car and make it go. He can chuff around the room in my Sunnysands train. But if he wants to go to the lighthouse, he has to fly.
This is my idea. I'd like to make a guessing machine for Jason.
A guessing machine? Oh, that's a fabadiculous idea. Let's see what we've got in here.
Luckily, Jemima, Shanae and Mr. Mentor were so busy looking through his big box of junk that they didn't see Grandpa fly in through the window, or land on the floor, or jump out, climb onto a table, and hide behind Mr. Mentor's ping-a-ding-a-dong. Just in time, too. Because who should suddenly walk in but...
Floyd! Don't start without me.
Floyd! What a spectacular surprise. I'm so glad you're here. You can help us invent a guessing machine for Jason.
Nah, guessing machines are boring. I want to invent a machine that will make you go, ah!
Well, it's already made me go, ah! And you haven't even invented it yet.
Grandpa could tell that Floyd was going to be big trouble.
We'll work in pairs. You two stay here and me and Mr. Mentor over there. I've got some cardboard and some springs and some odd socks. They were under my bed. Just do what I say, Mr. Mentor, because I've got a brilioso idea. Come on!
And Grandpa was going to have a brilioso plan. Because soon, Floyd's brilioso idea looked like this.
I'm going to call my invention the Odd Sock Shock Monster.
Well, we've got the socks. Now it's time to do the shocks. That's the tricky bit.
I want his trunk to swing up and go, and his eyes to pop out and go boing, and his tongue to shoot out and go, ah!
Oh, please don't keep doing that, Floyd. It's very hard to invent when you keep making me jump.
Mr. Mentor was so busy helping Floyd that he had no time to help Jemima and Shanae.
What if we put some little objects in here, then spin a wheel, and one of them falls into some kind of pot thing at the bottom?
Okay, and then you put your hands in the machine and try to guess what it is just by feeling it.
We could call it the Whizzy Wee Touchy Feely.
It's a great idea, but I haven't got a clue how to invent it. We really need some help.
That's when Grandpa remembered all the things that I said I wanted to use. He jumped off the table and rolled the old tricycle wheel towards Jemima.
How did it do that?
No no idea, but it's just what we need for the whizzy wheelie bit.
Grandpa's plan had started to work. He looked up and saw something else Jemima would need. So he jumped onto the table and made for the curly-whirly coat hanger. He carefully wiggled it off the hook.
Did that curly-whirly coat hanger just fall off all by itself?
It must have done. Hey, it's the perfect thing to stick the wheel onto.
Now all we need is something to put our objects in.
Grandpa knew the very thing. He jumped down and headed for a huge tower of plastic flower pots. He gave the tower a big push and...
A flower pot! This one's just the right size.
Grandpa's plan was definitely working.
It's almost as if these things want to be a part of our invention.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mentor was making Floyd cross.
And that is definitely not right there. Goes in
This
there.
is hopeless. It doesn't do anything. It's supposed to make you go, ah!
Ah! I don't do things that make you go, ah! I'm not that kind of inventor. Oh, dear.
While Grandpa thought up another plan, Floyd went over to the others.
What's that supposed to be? It looks pathetic.
It's a whizzy-weely touchy-feely, but it's not finished yet.
It'll never work. Not in a million years. This is a useless inventing club. Nothing works.
Now was Grandpa's chance. He was going to teach bossy Floyd a lesson. Floyd wanted his odd sock shock monster to make Mr. Mentor go, ah! What if the monster made Floyd go, ah, instead? So Grandpa crawled up the trunk of the odd sock shock monster.
Oh, don't do it like that. Do it my way.
Get off, Floyd! Leave us alone! You do your own thing.
At that moment, Grandpa started to wiggle the odd sock shock monster, and his eyes went boing, and his tongue shot out, and Floyd went,
Ah! It's horrible. Make it stop. Make it stop. I'm not doing your silly inventing club anymore. So there.
Then the odd sock shock monster started to laugh.
That's an incredible invention, Mr. Mentor.
Oh, I didn't invent it. It invented itself. And inventions that invent themselves are always fabridiculous. Oh, it stopped. Oh, I hope I haven't broken it. I'll just have a look inside.
Mr. Mentor, now that Floyd's out the way, please can you help us with our whizzy-weely touchy-feely?
Please?
Of course, my dear. Whizzy-weely touchy-feelies are right up my street.
Yes.
Come on.
While they all worked on Jemima and Shanae's invention, Grandpa got out of the odd sock shock monster, and soon the whizzy-weely touchy-feely looked like this.
It's finished. Brilioso.
But we don't know if it works yet. Shouldn't we test it out?
But there was no time to test it out because...
My mum's here. We've got to go. Floyd, do you want to lift home?
Let me carry it down the stairs for you.
That is so cool. Can I have a look? Nice job. I'm sorry I was so mean, Mr. Mentor. I had no idea you were such an amazing inventor. That odd sock shock monster is spectacular.
Apology absolutely accepted. I do hope you'll come back to our inventing club next week.
Well, maybe.
Aren't you going to take your odd sock shock monster home with you, Floyd?
No way. I mean, no thanks. It can stay here.
Off we go. Mind the stairs.
As soon as everyone had left the room, Grandpa jumped into the plane and flew out of the window. Luckily, he arrived back just before Jemima. Grandpa jumped out of the plane, whipped off his shrinking cap, and came back to his normal size.
Grandpa, you're back.
Did you have a successful mission?
I certainly did, and I couldn't have done it without you, though.
But I didn't help at all.
Oh, yes, you did, and any minute now you'll find out how. It was still teamwork.
Okay, Grandpa, teamwork.
Here you are, Jason, my Marvelicious new invention.
Thanks. It's extremely marvelicious.
What is it exactly?
It's a whizzy-wheelie touchy-feely.
A guessing game.
Yes, Grandpa. You spin the wheel, and that sends an object into the bottom. Then you stick your hands in there and try to guess what it is, just by feeling it.
Give it a try, Jason.
The other good thing about this invention is it stops Jason scratching his spots.
So it does. It's a work of genius, Jemima.
Has lots of legs. It's made of plastic. I know! It's a plastic spider! I'm so glad you used the old tricycle wheel and the curly-whirly coat hanger.
And the flower pot, it's inside.
Right again, Grandpa. Anyone would think you'd been to inventing club too.
It's really good, Jemima.
I know. Shall I help?